Alright YouTube, welcome to I think it's part 8 of my huge RC trophy truck build. It's been a while since I've uploaded anything, well you know how life is, gets in the way of everything else, but I've been busy working out, well scoping out all the problems that I had and trying to develop it as much as I can. Anyone who's done anything like this will know that the majority of your time you spend thinking about it and working out how you're going to do it, with probably only 10% of the time actually fabricating it and making it fit. You can see there that both the front wishbones are mounted. I've got the steering knuckles in that obviously got turned down. They're ready to have the upper wishbones fitted. I did make a pair, but I'm not happy with them, so I'm going to redo them. I won't even bother showing you. I mounted a front clip. I used an old shelving bracket and strengthened it up with some 10mm tube to brace it, make it a bit more rigid. And obviously I'll brace that as I'm going. Once the basic structure's in place, I can work out from that how and where I'm going to brace it up. Right, I'll go and shake your camera mould and show you what I've been doing, give you a bit of an idea, a bit more close up. You can see there the tower. I've mounted it so that the whole thing's like it removes based on the hinges for the lower wishbones, so you pop them out and the whole thing removes in one go. Obviously for putting it back together again after powder coating, that's going to be important. I've got to be able to get to everything in there. The shelving, the bracket that I used, you can see it in the middle. What I did was cut it at the back end so that I could get it around the chassis. I don't know if you can see in there. So it fits around the chassis, and then I've added a flat plate to brace it at the back, which I've also left a top to, which will help support the servo plates, the plastic servo plates that I've cut, and the cut out for the water pipes. Fitted a firewall, you can just about make it out there, just to add a bit of rigidity to the front end. I lined the back of it as well with a plate, because what I've decided I could use were, I don't know if you saw in one of my first videos, these, which were my first lower front wishbones, before I realised the size that I was going to have to scale everything to. This was something that I just put together. Well, what I'm actually going to use them for is the start of the mounts for the shocks at the front that'll obviously hang down and attach. I've got a nice point there. It's a good bracing, but that's why I put the plate on the back end, because I bolted right through there, so I can remove the whole front suspension piece with the front that will run along here and then join up to the front with a slam plate at the front probably, and then obviously I can work the bodywork and the structure over the top once I've got that in place, and all the trigonometry, the geometry's fixed up for the shocks, and obviously how that's gonna work. I started bracing here. You can see the terrible welds. I got a little stick kit off a friend of mine, nice one Tom, and kind of taught myself how to blow more metal away than I was putting down, but most of the bits I needed fixing are fixed, and it'll be a case of pass it on to someone with a bit more skill than me to do all the final seaming, which will obviously be a lot easier without a stick. I'll get someone to deal with that. I've mounted the servo. You can see there the steering servo with the plate that I made in a previous vid. It's pretty much just held in by the back plate. The back plate's got a sliding track, you can see at the bottom there, that holds the aluminium that the servo's attached to, and there's a filler there that heads into the top of the front brace, which holds the central pivot pin, which I'll run my steering servo saver off an actual. I know exactly what I need. I saw it done in another video, and it would be ideal for what I need. So I've mounted that as you can see, just in a block that's welded onto this strengthening plate that holds the lower strengthening arms that come from the front. So it's kind of do one thing and see how I can attach it to everything else to strengthen it up. Obviously this will all be braced against the firewall, against the chassis here, and against the central bar, just to add, again, to add a bit more rigidity. What you can make out there, you can see the way it's going to sit. I mean, it looks, I've got the look how I want. Obviously the windscreen I'll be taking out. That was just for my mock-up, sort of, just to get an idea how everything would sit. But because of the drawings and the plans that I'll be using to build the full body, I'll be changing that, I should think. I've still got to, I've bolted up the central tower, as you can see here. Originally I was going to use, it was an old Hong North shock mount. You can see there just an alley plate. I set it up, as you can see the holes in it, to take those bars, and I was going to run the shocks off that. But obviously I've gone, well, the shocks here, you've seen the rears, they like Barger clone shocks at the front, but it's going to take 2 pairs, so I don't think the alley plate's going to deal with it. That's why I've gone with the making the structure like freestanding, if you like. So the flex will be in this piece that will run right down the front, and therefore it'll give a bit more strength in the long term, I think, than trying to attach everything to this tower. I mean, it's fine having the upper and lower wishbones attached to there. That should work well. But obviously the shocks, they need to be bracing the whole body, so I think that'll be the way I'll go with that. You can just see the servo in there. It fits quite well. It's a bit fiddly, a bit of messing about, but you can see, I don't know if you can make the horn out underneath there. It sits inside those existing chassis rails. And then I'll just make a couple of, well, it's got a horn on the servo, but I'll just replicate this side to give me sort of, I'm hoping sort of 40 degrees of turn. I can get that off the servo, no problem. I've tested that up and it's working fine. Supposedly offering about 85 kilos of torque, so I'll try that. If that's not enough, I might have to either put another one in, or I'll go with the plan of the windscreen wiper motors that a lot of people have done. The problem with that for me is because the engine's not carrying and recouping a charge when it's running. Even though I've got a decent gel battery, it's just gonna rip it apart. I mean, if the steering servo is made out of a wiper motor, any sort of trim that I put on from dead zero it'll be pulling a current out of the battery. With no charge, it won't last too long. So I'll stick with my Tonegawa for now. Hope that's enough. If not, it might need re-engineering. I'll see what happens with that. Right, thanks for tuning in again. I'll try and get on it a bit more and give you a bit more information as I'm doing it. Let you see, obviously more than I have been doing, because it has been a while. Right, thanks for watching. Tell your friends. I'll see you next time. Peace.